I'm gonna get my ass kicked.
So personally, I am a normal mode player. But I know our director, Michael, he loves hard mode. I think he wants hard mode to be, I think, the premier way to play the game. So I think, more than welcome to go on hard. You're brave for doing so, but go for it.
Oh, we redid these areas.
Yes.
Oh, that's cute. I'm behind the times.
Yeah, the prologue area has been changed a little bit. One of the big things that we worked on for this particular content update patch was making the prologue area a little bit more fleshed out and making sure that any kind of like tutorials, things that are supposed to guide the user, those are all a little bit more streamlined. So we kind of updated the prologue as a whole.
Oh, that's really cool.
And if there's anyone watching from the chat, I will be monitoring the chat so that if there are any questions, we are always happy to answer them. This game is currently in early access, and it is on sale during the RPG Maker Festival. I believe that is until Monday the 19th. So if you're interested, you can pick up the game. You can also try out our demo. We have a free demo that's going on, so many ways to check out the game.
Oh, this is cute. A little box of tower dust. That will be helpful eventually.
Yeah.
I want to pick a fight so my ass doesn't get kicked in later fights. I'm not quite sure how strong I actually am on hard mode. I'm just glad the crit still kills them in one hit.
Yeah. So viewers might notice the way critical strikes in this game work. There are no like percent chances for critical hits. All the critical hits are tied to specific conditions, and so you have to, if you want to score critical, there are conditions you can meet to meet those criticals, and then you can do that triple damage. But it's not like in other games where there's a luck component to the critical. It's more like, can you figure out the mechanic, or can you figure out the trigger for the critical? And most of the skills will advertise how to get there. It'll say like, if the enemy is bleeding, do critical damage, things like that.
I've been wanting to see how much of a problem these things are on hard. That's not good. But I think we've solved that problem. Do these do anything else? I kinda just heat up other things, right?
Yes, I assume you're talking about the little loose embers. I'm only seeing this through the delay, so I'm like
right.
6 seconds behind a lot of what you're doing.
I should share my screen with you, Discord. That would be
Yeah,
helpful to you.
if that is possible, that would be.
Let's hope Discord doesn't throw a fit for me. Oh no, can I hear stuff? Yes. I'm gonna have to reflip you on OBS. Hold on.
Sure, no worries.
Somehow. That would be that's the window. Go. Oh god, no, I'm moving. Background. I know how to use technology, I promise.
And while we're doing some troubleshooting, I've been told the game audio is a little too loud, so it's hard to hear us over the skill animations. Maybe if we can bring the total game volume down to maybe like 50%.
Yeah, let's do that. How is that?
Hopefully that is better. We will see if
Yes.
it improves. So yeah, let us know if that's any better.
Let's hit this switch.
All right.
Door wrapped in vines. That's a hint that I don't remember what it goes to.
Yeah, so we've added a lot of some new areas to the starting zone, so you can do some exploration there.
I know I had wanted to like get to like the porphyry section, but I'm too curious about what's around here now. Now this path is open.
Yes.
Okay, alright, that was worthwhile. Any accessory that gives me damage makes me happy. I'm totally gonna get my ass kicked on hard mode. I like big numbers too much, and I'm
Me
not going
too.
to use nearly enough status effects.
Yeah, I think you know, I'm much more of a normal mode player because I like seeing big numbers. I like doing things that might not be the best strategy, but it's for me the most fun strategy. And that might be the way it just kind of, you know, and that's I think one of the strengths of the game is that, you know, you can, if you like doing a lot of optimization, min-maxing, you can very much get on the, you can go on hard mode, you can play the game and just have it, you know, be that kind of a game where you really have to think about your loadout and your skills, the skill mods that you're doing, the accessories that you're wearing. You know, if you want to optimize all that to get through some fights, that is a good way to play.
Yeah.
I think that's a lot of fun. But I also like it that in normal mode, you can kind of take it a little bit more easy. You can not maybe do the most optimal strategy, and it's still forgiving. You don't have to play on a knife's edge all the time. So I enjoy that as well.
Mm-hmm. I think that normal mode balance is really good. Like, it remains challenging even if you're taking it seriously, right? Like, hard mode isn't the only like way to make it feel satisfying.
Right.
We're getting the gang together.
Yeah.
I like that we have a gang. I love Porphyry.
Yeah, I've been very happy with how Porphyry plays. I've also really enjoyed her as just like a character in general, but just being able to program her battle mechanics and work on her the way she ended up turning out was a very pleasant surprise. In terms of just the overall sort of character overview, you can all see there's the transmitter at the bottom, and as Morgan is using Porphyry's abilities, that transmitter is going up. The higher the trance, the more damage she will do, but if you end up with too much trance, then that can lock you out of certain abilities. And so you have this, it's our take on this classic Berserker battle rage type mechanic, and I think there's a lot of depth in that trance management. There's a lot of ways that you can play Porphyry. You can play her as just, you know, max out your trance gauge and just go for big damage, throw caution to the wind. You can play that way, or you can end up with more of a supportive, controlling Porphyry type that manages the trance and sort of uses her more as like a tank kind of build. There's a lot of fun things you can do with Porphyry, and I thought that at first it was going to be just, okay, classic Berserker type, just hit hard, smash, and that it was going to be more of a simple character. But it turns out, I think, in my time building and testing her, that there's a lot more depth to Porphyry. I've been having a great time with her.
Yeah, I love the depth to her. And then I also love that if you really want, you can just build her so that you just go aggro and
Yes.
no think, only whack.
Yep.
I'm also really excited for Izowen, the stance management for him between like the exosuit and outside of it. I think is really interesting. I'm excited to see what we do as we finalize that, right?
Yeah. So Azoan right now, Azoan is the only character left in the game that we have to implement before our full release. And Azoan has, yeah, like you saw on the screen, lots of stance shifting. I guess our take on like a stance shifter type. He can be in his Tech Lance mode or Exosuit mode and gains different abilities depending on which mode you're in. And it's going to be a fun challenge for me to program. It's that kind of archetype of a character is one that I typically tend to steer away from in my personal time, like whenever I'm like a consumer of games. And so it'll be fun to be able to kind of design that, since I'm typically not someone that plays those kinds of characters in games.
There's lava in my... Fight you. Yeah, actually, I feel very similar about Porphyry. I'm not typically drawn to characters like Porphyry. Porphyry's my favorite character in this game, gameplay-wise so far. She's really fun.
Yeah, that's awesome to hear. It's like a surprising. I don't know. It's just it's I of course I'm biased because like I worked on it, but like it is a very fun take on this.
Yeah.
content.
I mean, even in being part of the process of the making of this, right? Like, I was not excited for Porphyry until I played her. Like, the design was cool. I really liked it.
Mm-hmm.
But until I got my hands on it, I was like, not fully sold. She's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I love how thematic our character designs are. It's really fun to right, and he stays in the mode that he started in.
Yes. So once you so if you end the battle with Tech Lance mode, then you can start the next battle in Tech Lance mode. If you end the combat in the Exosuit mode, then you'll start the combat in Exosuit mode. I think it's up in the air right now whether for the final release you'll be able to change the stance outside of combat. I'm assuming you can. There are other characters in the game that people will meet later on that have similar ideas of like different states that can be applied to them to battle and them retaining that state, and those states can be changed outside of combat. And so I think Azilla will eventually get the same treatment. Smash.
That's exciting. I love that Porphyry can smash.
Yes. So one of the new things... Oh, nice. One of the new things that we've added in this patch too is that smashing. So people who might be familiar with the game, that might be new to them, where every character now has their own little unique thing they can do to interact with objects in the world. And depending on who that character is, that can open up different pathways for exploration. So Porphyry can smash.
I love the turtle theme with Porphyry.
Yeah.
Praise the tortoises.
Praise the tortoise.
It's good.
Yeah.
I want to learn more about turtle worship culture. Is that a good idea? Eh.
We shall see. I mean, as they say, I am not a good hard mode player, so I'm not actually sure in terms of any kind of advice I can offer. I can't offer much, especially because a lot of the builds that I play, even through playtesting on normal mode, is just kind of weird, ridiculous things. I did one of the characters we have is Gigi, the familiar cat, who is the companion to Tally, one of our other playable characters. And Gigi is supposed to kind of be like the other half of Tally, so Tally is Tally and Gigi, a combo character, and it's a cat familiar that you can kind of spec like the cat to be a little bit stronger, but the cat's meant to be, I think, more of a Gigi, like an ancillary or secondary character. But I've once done a playthrough where I just went all in on making Gigi as strong as possible and just went full in on the Gigi strategy, and that was always a good time.
Yeah, I like that Gigi can very much just be built to handle things for you.
Yeah.
I liked in my playthrough of or in a couple of my playtests with them, really building Tally to just be kind of a tank and utility character. And then GG, just every turn is on the offense.
Yeah. I don't want to jinx it, but I so far things seem so good. Like, you know, good. It is just the prologue, so you know, maybe the hard mode difficulty hasn't quite kicked in yet. This is supposed to be teaching moments, but
well, as you said that, Zoen's missile attack missed, and I panicked for a moment.
It's, yeah, hopefully I didn't jinx anything, but you know, so far so good.
And for our viewers, I will be slowing down and paying more attention to the character interactions after we get out of the prologue and start focusing on Porphyry.
Good.
Here we're meeting all of our characters. Here's Neat and Tally, our first 2 playable characters.
Alright, so I've also just seen that it looks like there were a couple settings we have to put up that Michael just put up to make this show up on the RPG Maker Festival page, because apparently it wasn't before. So he has asked that we restart the stream real quick. Hopefully that will kind of kick things into gear to have us appear on the festival. So if there are any viewers, which at this point might just be us because we weren't really broadcasting this super publicly, you will see the stream will go down for a second here. We should have it back up shortly.
We'll be right back, folks. Alright, so I should just relaunch?
Yeah, I would give it a minute to just kind of like, you know, so that it doesn't think it's just like a connection error. Just like, turn it off, let it stay off for a minute, and then turn it back on. Yeah, apparently it seemed like a permission setting that was preventing this from appearing on the RPG Maker Festival page, so he just fixed it, and hopefully that will, once we turn it back on, that setting will do that.
Okay, hold on. There might be a setting I need to change.
I think you're okay, because so Michael said it might be a permission issue I found. So he added you as like an official store page broadcaster, not just for the event, and so that might have been why.
Yeah, there's also there's apparently a personal broadcast setting. Anyone can watch my game, but I don't know if that actually this broadcast. I don't know.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean anything that if you see a setting for any kind of like viewer limiting, I would just turn that to public. I did see the stream on the store page, like our Tower Song store page. So like that part's working. It just wasn't showing up on the RPG Maker page.
Yeah.
So.
All right.
Yeah, I think you're good to turn it back on.
All right, we should be back.
Awesome, and we're back.
Cool.
Make sure that. All right.
Ah, yes, the gargoyles. GG. I do miss GG.
GG's wonderful.
I know GG's Tally's cat, but like, if you beat the game, can you let players have GG with no matter what character you select?
Just as a familiar.
It's like, hey, if you beat the game, on your next playthrough, you can choose the add familiar option. I just want a cat. I'm terribly allergic to it, funny enough.
It's like I love ice cream, but I am lactose intolerant, so it is a big pain every time.
An apex predator. Won't let these cherubic cheeks deceive you. I love Tally's writing. She makes me happy.
She's got so much sass.
Right. Not allowed to go up there now. Oh, this is cool. I love what we did with the decorations.
Yeah.
I forgot we added these.
Yeah, so that's another thing that we can do. So whereas Porphyry can smash things, she cannot fit into vents, but Gigi can. So that's one of the
exciting.
unique things. Yeah, that's the unique thing that Tally can do. So every character has got their own little things.
Volatile spray.
Little spray. It's
Those thoughts of
early.
volatile spray. Anytime I draw that card, I have to. And then you get a turn like this. Yes, I guess I'll just, Ghost Armor you. I'm gonna set my cat on you. Knockout.
Big damage.
I like Neat's combo-based gameplay.
Neat is a lot of fun. I think when, every time we do a big update, I have to go through and play the game with every character, kind of make sure that nothing is completely broken. So, that's part of the testing process. We play through the game with everyone, and the Neat playthrough is, I think, my overall my favorite of the ones. There are parts of me that thinks maybe some of his skills are too strong, but I enjoy being strong, so I'm not complaining. But he has a really satisfying combo. That the way his combo works, it just sort of is exactly what I'm looking for in terms of just there's a lot of possible ways to just go all in on that damage strategy, and that's a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also a strategy that I think would probably not work on hard mode because I sacrifice a lot of defense in everything I do to get him to be just this kind of just one punch man-esque, just absolute carry force, but if things go wrong, then it goes really wrong.
Yeah, I feel like of all the protagonists, I don't feel like he has as much utility as
he has a lot of I think offensive-minded utility.
Yeah.
But not so much support. He does have one pretty strong move, but you have to get up the combos to get to that point and to help your teammates.
Yeah. Whereas Porphyry's pretty aggro, but I feel like she's got something going for her. Oh. No. Oh, I've been checked out. Okay. Well, why don't you get Neat off the floor, Tally, while you regenerate mana? Bad.
Nice. Good recovery. So one of the things that is, I guess, I don't know if it's particularly unique at this point, in game development era, but one of the decisions that we've made in this game is that items are not something that you have to really manage or collect. You kind of treat them as like a skill almost. So items they all have kind of a use cap per battle. So right now you have access to 1 elixir, which will heal somebody, and 1 soul shard per character, and the soul shard being the item that Morgan just used to revive Neat. And so everyone gets 1 revive that they can use on another teammate, and those items all replenish after every combat. So you don't have to worry about collecting items or saving items. That's something that we wanted players to have to avoid. So you don't have to worry about, okay, am I going to have to save everything I have? And, just because I don't know if there's a boss coming up or anything like that. We want you to use everything you have at your arsenal at any time to kind of get past this current obstacle.
Oh. Oh, that's cute.
Yeah.
Yeah, calling out the item system is really, really good. I think a lot of JRPGs don't really think about what's interesting about their resource management, and so it ends up feeling rote.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, friend. What's going on with you? love that Neat, our fighting game esque character, is the one whose special skill is let's talk this actually.
Yeah, he's got a very interesting backstory. So if you go along the Neat path, you'll get a little glimpse into that. He used to be a former regulator, which is someone who is, I guess, like a government hired special cop to in his hometown of Noddle, or home, I guess, country, or home region of Noddle. And so he has that kind of rough experience in the past, but I think he is trying to sort of kind of come to terms with what he was before, alongside with sort of who he's becoming through this adventure. And it's very I almost said it's very neat, but and completely unintentionally, but it is pretty neat. So
I wouldn't have let that one slide. I'm worried that one of these fights is just gonna call me out for not thinking about things enough. I think my logic so far here has been sound.
Yeah, nothing too crazy so far. And one of the things, in case we don't ever see it happen, in case Morgan is just Tower Song Pro and just, we go through this entire stream without a single defeat. If you are defeated in combat, or if at any time you want to restart, if you lose combat, you're not just sent back to a game over screen. You can choose to restart that fight just as is. You can choose to first go to the menu and change out equipment or loadout. So we try to make it a little, even if you do end up being defeated in combat, make it as easy as possible to just get right back up and try it again, or you can load an old save and go back. We also auto save after every encounter, so that you're never reset that far back in terms of progress, even if you do want to just go back to an old save.
Yeah, one of my favorite things about this game is that development team, and Michael is the lead designer and kind of like the creator of this project from its inception. You have such a strong vision for what is interesting and fun about the game, and don't feel the need to adhere to the trappings of the genre that the game is made in. Just because, right? I think especially in the modern era, with how I love that he just takes them out.
Yeah.
I think a lot of games focus on being live service, or being an experience that's supposed to fill up a certain amount of time. And I don't think that's very I don't think that leads to making good games. You need to understand what's enjoyable about what you're making.
Yeah, sometimes a sort of a smaller scope in that way of just kind of focusing on fewer but more quality things. I think it does add to a
even with something
complete experience.
Final Fantasy is the item management, the handling of potions in that game. Is that actually fun?
Yeah, I never really that was not. Yeah, that's not the what makes that game fun.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I agree.
It's kind of just a hindrance that's there as a classic trapping. I love the way that we handle the management of items and progress. Like you said, with the battles restarting, there's no reason to shoot you back to a save point, right? There's no outside resources to manage.
Right.
And we focus on what makes the fights in a JRPG really interesting without that.
Yeah. Lots of enemies coming out. All right, this is kind of the big test here.
Okay. What do I want to do? I think I want to take out these errant flames. first, just because I'm spooked about letting something else get much of a foothold. But I think when I have G straight, I'm going to want to have me take out the pod. Alright. Oh, we rolled volatile spray. We hit the volatile spray button. Do I take out that other errand lane? That's fine. Okay, we're in a good
Clean up
spot.
follow. Yeah, good.
I didn't call it out at the moment because I'm excited to get the porphyry game to play. But we did get a level up there and milestone-based level ups, which yeah, there's no grinding for experience. It's just once you get to a certain point in the story, your characters get stronger. I think that sort of growth is really cool. Like you can have like story beats where characters learn something or like learn a lesson of some sort, and then as the journey changes, then they get stronger. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, I am a big fan of that sort of milestone leveling, even just like as a consumer, but also from a developer standpoint too. I think it makes the fights, especially in the later game, it's easier to balance because we know exactly what level people are going to be. There's no random encounters, so you can't just grind your way to the point where, there's, I think with a lot of those games, you have to do a lot of active like research to figure out, well, what level, what's the average level of the player base, and what kind of equipment do they have, is the majority of the player base grinding, like, it's hard to set up a baseline for what people are doing. And so I think for like a first time small indie game, like doing something like this made our work a lot easier, because then we know through the milestone based leveling and the fact that these enemies are placed there, there's nothing random about it. You either encounter them or don't. It makes it so that we know, okay, at this point you're going to be this level, you're roughly going to have this kind of equipment depending on what people find, but it makes that one less variable to consider when balancing, and we're hoping that makes it into a more interesting experience.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to be said for being able to very particularly curate the experience. And I think with like turn-based JRPGs, the way strategy plays out in a game like this, this will be fine. This will probably be fine. Oh, that was a mistake. Okay, well, that's fine. Everything's fine. I also love the music here.
Yes, the music, we have our all the music that, I think all of them, pretty sure it's all of them, or at least just to be safe, I'll say a lot of the music that folks are going to hear have been composed by our composer Will Alshire, and his music is fantastic. I like, just one of my favorite things about while I was working on coding a lot of this game is we would get a new piece of music that he had finished, and I would go into a zone and hear it for the first time, and most of the time I would get in there and just like stop testing, just sit there and listen to it. A lot of the songs are just, I mean, they're so good. So like, yeah, this is a great one.
Also, I'll call it out specifically the next time we reach it, but our boss music, I love. It's the sample that he used for it is, it's brilliant in the tone of things. It is not a song that I would expect to call catchy, but it's quite catchy.
Yeah. And this game kind of, I think that idea of some of the themes being a little like, I don't want to say like weird, but like just something that's unconventional. Like this game has a lot of that, I think, and intentionally, where it's a kind of a fusion of a lot of high fantasy elements of like Tally with her with the way she draws the cards and does all this like kind of like magic, like the kind of classic high fantasy magic. You've got Solace getting absolutely deleted. But you have someone like Solace with more like technology, guns and stuff. Kind of harkens back to old Final Fantasy with like magic and magitech and all that. So we have a good mix of fantasy, sci-fi, hybrid modern, also retro. It's this interesting amalgamation, and I think the music does a great reflection of that too.
Yeah, it really does. And I love how I don't know, strong the artistic vision is for the world here. Like, I think conventionality can be fun, but like, it's good to do what you find interesting and to explore things that other people haven't explored before. I think that makes for great art and really fun games. And that's why Final Fantasy was so popular. Like,
Yeah.
you have a high fantasy game, and I think in later versions it's changed more of like a steampunkish sort of thing. But like in the NES version, like the flying fortress is a satellite. It's like a space station, and that's so cool. I also like it when games like give you the space to ask questions about a game.
Yeah.
Oh, I have to make smart choices.
Yes.
So we're gonna grab it for free, obviously. And then I cannot turn down the utility tab. Alright, let's get to this. Also, for the record, Patros is gross. Look at all those eyes.
Yeah, the artists are Red Potion Studios that did a lot of the custom monster. We use monster from a couple different sources, but the primary one being Red Potion Studios. Their monster design like this is just like, I say it's gross in like the nicest, in like the most positive way, but like, man, that thing is gross. There's a particular enemy in the later part of the game, which I doubt we will get to in this stream, but there's a particular enemy out there called the Flesh Hunter. That might be my favorite enemy. It's the, and again, like we were saying, the art direction and the sort of the themes of just, you've got this gross thing with all these hands coming out. Like, it adds to that, yeah, the feeling of the mystery of this game. And one of the big things you'll discover as a player going through the game is what a tower is, what is this tower song, what are these towers, why are we even fighting these things? A lot of that stuff you'll learn as you go through the game, and so maybe you'll get to see why these creatures are so gross like this.
Yeah. I also love that they're not like standard gross. Like, I feel this way about Mother 3, one of my other favorite like characters. Like they're the like a lot of the enemies are like chimera, mishmashes of different like extant animals. And they're both charming and upsetting, deeply upsetting. Oh no.
Oh.
This is fine. Probably fine. Okay, we've made it another turn. Here we get something familiar. Get Tally back. Or Gigi back. No. Okay. This makes things hard again. To get Tally back, I don't have another soul shard. But Solace is very squishy. I can get Solace up. I think things will be fun. I should have had a barrier. Bye, GG.
Oh, and there it is.
All right, let's try
You
this
can see,
again.
yeah, we can just hop right back in and yeah, try again. In the later parts of the game, once you have more equipment and more things that are at your disposal in terms of customization, the sort of that post-battle defeat menu will also give you the option to. I think it gives it to you now, but there's not much to do right now. But the option to change your loadout, which will take you right into the main menu, and you can rearrange equipment and load out to match the situation. Pretty cool.
Alright,
be able to
we're
get through
gonna,
this second time.
we're gonna have to buff barriers because we need them. That's the smart choice. We're still going to instigate because all I want is blood. And just want Corpy to whack things with the biggest damage number I can find as often as she can. Everyone else's problem is doing utility things. Alright, we're gonna roll the dice, see if we get the sun on. That's making life a lot easier. And look at that. It's just how you draw it up.
It's great when it works out.
Uh-huh. And from Porphyry's attack. So Porphyry's lightest attack, Ren, will apply a wound, which will do damage over time. It's a nice damage number. Get that out of the way for us. One thing that I think is really interesting is I might have wanted to have Tally immune so that more mana. GG. His health is based off of they have a shield for in place of most of their health bar, and that's their mana meter. So when you'll notice whenever they get hit, they mana instead of health, which I think is a cute mechanic. So when GG casts barrier, they're actually casting. Both Kylie and GG more mana. Therefore, more health for GG. I think they're in a pretty good spot overall for GG. Heat level orange is a bit slippery, but it should be able to just that force free to go. Now I just need to keep her alive. I'll go ahead and have Solace use an elixir to keep her free alive. Got more enemies. We're gonna roll the dice. My life's been so easy. It landed.
Nice.
Backs up. Sad.
Still 1 HP. It's probably, with that amount of no yellow bar showing, that is probably actually 1 HP, which is upsetting, but that's how it goes.
Look at Porphyry go now. Okay, we're gonna continue to get GG's health back up. Double red. Kind of spooky, but we should be fine. Aim on that one. Other one, except not Tally. Because, that's okay. That's where we had to.
Yeah, GG's a good backup.
The barriers helped a lot there. Porphyry finally came to her senses after berserking aggressively. Now I have to do this. I think. Alright, let's get GG back. Welcome back, handsome boy. I'm gonna use Instigate, because Porphyry gets more damage based on her trance. At this point, we're going for broke. Cool. That is Phosphorus out of the way. And now we we've done it.
Nice.
Alright, so this is the selecting our character.
Yeah.
The rest of the game. Solace is very determined to get Amara back, her sister. And we are going to go and get another ally. Hopefully save Amara.
Yeah.
I really hope we get to Kieran in this stream. He's the worst. I love him so much.
I do, yeah. But there are parts of Kieran where you just can't help but to kind of understand.
I understand him.
Yeah, like he's a very interesting and fun character in that way.
Yes. He's not hateable.
Yeah.
Just like I don't dislike him. I mean I do. For other reasons. But like he's very ends justifies the means in a lot of ways. And he's got very grand ends, right?
Mm-hmm.
And let's grab Porphyry. Alright, so from here on out, I'm going to be giving us a little more time to read the dialogue so that we can focus on Porphyry's personal story and the playthrough here. I also love how empathetic. Actually, one of my favorite things is the way that the perspective characters react to Kieran. Porphyry is very empathetic towards Kieran in a way that does not excuse the ways in which he's kind of a jerk. But I like the ways that just having a different perspective character will like change the context of a character, cause you to see a new side of a character who doesn't like they're still the same person.
And I think that's one of the big strengths of this game as far as replayability goes. I think something we hear often is like, well, what's the difference between the characters? Is it, do you get a whole new story? Do you get, what is the benefit of, choosing a different character? And, the overall story, I would say, of Tower Song is kind of the same. The mission of, hey, we need to get back into that fire tower and rescue Amara, that never changes across any of the runs. However, like you were saying, the way Porphyry interacts with Kieran, you learn a little bit more about Kieran. You learn more different things about Kieran than you would with another character, or you will learn different things about the world playing through Porphyry than with someone else. You'll learn different things about Solace that you wouldn't get if you had played a character that wasn't Porphyry. And so in that way you don't get a unique story in terms of the grand scheme of things. You're still just rescuing Amara, that is your main mission, but you get these interesting differences throughout, and I think that adds a lot to the replayability, in addition to the fact that you are getting a whole new gameplay experience in terms of the playstyle of these characters.
Mm-hmm. It does help that I just made that, didn't I? Yeah, that's... I'll have to go back.
So one of the things too that you'll that might not be immediately obvious to the player just watching is, in terms of this crafting, anyone can wear any armor. Of course, weapons are limited to the specific character, but just because Solace starts out with body armor doesn't mean she can't put on plate armor or she can't put on a harness. You can wear anything you want, and we do it that way so that you can play around with different playstyles, play around with how you want to build your character, and you can try out different things at no cost, because anytime if you don't like something, you can go back to the forge and you can disenchant or reforge your equipment in a way that you get a full refund on everything, so you can try out as many things as you like and not feel like you're having to worry about the resources. The only thing it costs you really is your time and the fact that you have to go back to a campsite or a forge to recraft them.
Yeah, it's a really good system. Thank you for mentioning that, Ishin. Probably safe. Or
Yeah.
just in case.
Was that, yeah, safety save, I think, or whatever.
Yeah.
I've heard from, what is it, speedrunning, things like that.
God. I wanted to see if I could open that drawer up here. Yeah, this is exactly why Michael does the... That's cute. Cute. Actually, let's put it on Solace. Any amount of defense on Solace helps. Solace is fragile. Alright, and let's get up. Start heading towards our next locale.
Yeah. One of the things... Yeah, go
ahead.
Oh, so one of the things I wanted to mention too, just kind of piggybacking, going back to the idea of the replayability and whatnot, something that I believe, some people might think it's a weakness, but I think I'd like to think it's a strength, especially in these times where there's just so many games out there. The average playthrough, I think, from start to finish, if you're kind of just going through everything, seeing the story for the first time, I would say it's like a 10 to 15 hour sort of campaign across 3 acts. And so we just started Act 1. And so it's a very digestible RPG. It's not like a 60-hour gauntlet where, you pick Porphyry and then you are committed to Porphyry for basically the entirety of how you want to play this game. But it's a lot more, it's smaller in scope, it's digestible, it's kind of a weekend jaunt is, I think, the term we used once. And so because of that, you can finish the game pretty quickly and then go into another playthrough, or just put it down for a week or two, wait till the next character comes out or something like that. Feel like getting back into Tower Song, wait for a couple updates. When something's new, you can go back in there and play through another character. And I think, there are a lot of RPGs that I will start and I really like it, but then once I'm done, it's hard for me to just immediately go back into it and start a new playthrough, because I've just gone through this voyage and I just need a break from it. And I think there's a lot of merit to long games. I think longevity in games can be good, but when it's too long, it can also be not great. And so I do enjoy that this game, you get a complete experience without having to devote your entire, this doesn't have to be the game that you just grind for days and days to get the full experience.
I really like that about Tower Song. I, in general, think games should be shorter.
Yeah.
I will not use the stream moment to rant about the ways we try and monetize people's time, especially in gaming. And my deep unhappiness with it, that's for another time. Wolves. Alright, and now we're just working our way through the Emerald Forest.
Yeah.
I like the environment here.
Me too. The artist, like the environmental art we use, the Winlu tiles, fantastic. And we also have our we have another artist that we have on the team to create some of the more custom sprites, like the character designs, like Porphyry and Solace that's out there. A lot of the pixel art, I think it kind of harkens back to that old. It's like old school, but also kind of newer styles, like the newer resolution. I don't know. It just I really like the pixel art.
I think the art style that we have is really charming. All right, let's get the murder hornets out of here.
Yeah.
I like the murder hornets all attack at once with one attack.
It makes it so that it's, you don't have to wait for each individual. Whoa, they came back.
Right. Right.
Yeah. I think this might be a great time to point out some of the intent system that we have in this game, where similar to a lot of the RPGs out now, before the enemy acts, so right now above the head of this cleaved ent, there's the little floating sword. That floating sword is an indication, as you can see in the little label, that this enemy is going to attack a single opponent, so it's planning to engage. Before the turn where it revived all the hornets, there was a little the green recovery cross up there to show that it was going to do some recovery activity. And it won't tell you exactly what it's going to do. You don't know if it's going to do something like this, where it's going to revive all of the hornets. Maybe it'll heal itself. It'll do some kind of recovery activity, but that at least will help you at least learn the patterns and expect a little bit of what's happening. And so being able to anticipate these enemy moves, knowing what kinds of moves are possible, like what's in the enemy's moveset, are also all very good things to know. And so that also helps with the strategy, especially on hard mode.
Explaining how the intent system works, having just watched me be shocked that the hornets came back. That's a lot of wolves. Well, these hornets won't be coming back. We'll just stun you. This is fine. Probably a little low on health, but this should take points. Elixir here. Also cure her wound. And if Solace perishes turn, so be it. I think Porphyry can close this out. It is worth pointing out that enemies can have multiple intents going on at once. So these are afflict wound and engage. Oh,
Yes.
They'll be attacking a single opponent and inflicting a wound.
Yeah, the examine is very much good to keep an eye on, especially on hard mode if you're trying to, really try to get the edge off, get as much of an edge as you can on these enemies.
There we go. Oh, I'm not looking forward to the boss at the end of this chapter. I always struggle with him. Oh. Ambushed by ents. They were kind of sitting right there. Funny when you make something and have to interact with it again months later. It's oh, that trigger hitbox is actually farther north than I remembered.
Yeah.
start this encounter, because I think I need to go aggro turn 1 here to be in the best shape possible. Porphyry going last was also bad. Oh, that also helps. Yeah, those Ents are gonna get the Hornets back, but that's fine. But the other Ent was trying to do that too, so, you know. Flashbang this, keep the Hornets out for another. We're actually going to... I think I just want to keep throwing out the AoE and getting more health is so good. I care if the Hornets have this strategy right now. He's off.
Yes.
Yeah, getting that wolf out.
Looking good. Double recover.
Oh.
Miss! The miss!
Oh no.
Oh no.
Speedrunner voice. This has never happened before. But Solace is alive.
Solace is alive.
Solace is no longer alive, but
Solace
she's
no longer alive, but there it is. Very well done. Now that you're out of combat, if you don't mind, we're getting reports that the game audio is still a smidge too loud.
Yeah.
So if you can turn it down a little bit more.
Let's give that a shot.
Yeah.
That should be good. If it ends up being a bit quiet, I'd rather hear that complaint.
Yeah.
But we'll adjust until we find a sweet spot there.
Yeah.
Well, I guess this does have lower accuracy. Alright, well, you know, we'll Witch's Sight. Give her another eye. Scout tower and disrepair. You too, buddy. Go. Both the boss fights in this chapter, on my playtests, keep having bad times. I mean, like, good times, they're challenging.
But they can definitely, yeah, they do some damage.
Yeah.
Especially on hard mode, we you know, we're not trying to be mean, but we also don't hold your hand either.
Get out this smaller end. Whirlwind again. Yeah, here's the boss music I was talking about.
Yes. It's got this thumping beat. It's it's such a
hey.
yeah.
Like,
it's like a dance beat, but also it just works so well as boss music.
It reminds me of something out of, like, you know, like Earthbound, and it's like more psychedelic tracks. Hornets are back.
And here we're also seeing this the berserk mechanic, where now that Porphyry is at 100 trance, she is fixated on that Ent and cannot do anything else other than rend that Ent until either she's dead or the Ent is dead. We did put a 5-turn clock on it, so she has 3 more turns of this mode, and so whereas in the past you could whirlwind and get rid of all the Hornets at once, right now Porphyry is not in the mood for that. She is just going hard on just defeating this bereaved Ent.
But the transmitter increases damage, so as part of this, like, he's doing big damage to the bereaved Ent. Like, I did not call it out ahead of time. So you'll just have to take my word that I actually set this up intentionally. So the whole goal was to like whirlwind and get her trance at 100 so that she would whack the bereaved int and
Love
finish
it.
him off for me.
Yeah. Knowing, and I think that was like what you just said, that strategy of sort of, you know, the like setting up the battle state in a way to make the berserk, which could potentially be a negative, where if if you didn't want to get into berserk and you're sort of locked into an enemy that you didn't want to get this get fixated on, like being able to manage that and kind of reduce the randomness there in a very intentional way, that adds so much depth to her gameplay. And so having that sort of strategy where you're able to manipulate the battlefield in such a way to force these situations, that's so good.
Yeah, that's like what I love about playing Porphyry is like she feels so martial, right?
Mhm.
Like you want to set up the battlefield and then just go at them.
And when it works out, it really does work out.
It feels really good to get it right.
Yeah.
Another level up. And we get skill mods.
Yes.
So, Ishan, you explain these things so well. Could I tap you to explain what skill mods are and what they mean?
Absolutely. Yeah. So skill mods are they're modifications to skills, which is doesn't say anything. But the idea is that every few levels you will get a skill mod tier, and so right now you only have one tier, so you can only affect 2 different skills. But with these skill mods, you can get, for example, in Solace's case, Hex Shot or Disarming Shot. So some skills will replace others. These 2 used to replace a skill, but now they are not. Now they don't. They just are standalone skills. And so these skills can either modify existing skills or just give you a whole new skill. And so in this case, Solace can gain Hex Shot, which will deal the attack damage, piercing damage, and inflict curse resistance, which will increase damage from the heat, death, and soul attacks for 4 rounds on an enemy. Or she can get the Disarming Shot, which will deal the piercing damage and inflict curse weapon to target, having their damage dealt for 4 rounds. And so you can choose maybe the Hex Shot as a more offensive option. Right now, you don't really have many other skills or characters that can do the death, heat, and soul damage. So it might not be value now, but as you gain more characters, gain more skills that can do that type of damage, that can be a very strong offensive option. Or you can take Disarming Shot, which is a more defensive option, and it's not always the case that one's offensive and one's defensive, but we do have sort of 2 themed paths in these choices for each character, and so you can kind of see as you unlock more and more skill mods, different archetypes start to form for these characters. But you can mix and match these paths at will. You can swap out these mods at will, and that also just goes along with the equipment and the accessories you have to complete your loadout and make your playstyle for these characters very unique.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite things. Oh,
You even get an achievement for it.
I did. One of my favorite things about the way we've done the skill mod system is it doesn't feel like you're locked into a path. Like the skills aren't less effective for choosing things with different. They're like less innately synergistic. Because you also have to think about what your other party members have. Like
Exactly. Yeah.
like in this case, like I don't really have much of a use for Hex Shot at the moment because Porphyry, she does not have death, heat, or soul damage. So Disarming Shot is pretty natural for what I want. But like later on in the game, like I might have a character who's more reliant on that and would prefer to use that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I really like Porphyry's, especially Porphyry's level 1s, specifically for the interaction with Solace. So Deep Wounds is, so you can see in the top path, it's like very much Porphyry focused. But the Battle Sense is a little bit more supportive, and it works really well with Solace because she naturally likes, and she has easy ways to get into evasion and stuff like that. So it works very well with Solace. I have gone all in on the make Solace the primary, just hit him hard type builds before, and so there's all kinds of fun ways to manipulate the your party and your loadout in order to make the. I don't know. It kind of keeps runs fresh. You know, you can play. You know, I've mentioned before, and I have to play the game a bunch to test it, but every time it feels like I'm playing a new game, even if I'm going through with the same character, because I can do one run with Porphyry as the main attack damage, or I can make Porphyry the support type and make Solace the attack damage. And sometimes even within a single playthrough, I'll change it for a specific battle just because if I'm facing a bunch of enemies that are all immune to wounds, then the deep wounds mod might not be great, so I'll swap it off. And sometimes swapping one mod then necessitates swapping other mods and equipment, and so there's all kinds of fun things you can do. And it seems very simple at first, but I think it's got a lot of depth to it.
I love the Porphyry's character. She's serious but very like emotive. Like very grounded and practical. Like I don't know, she feels very like authentic. Like the writing in the game is really, really good, just across the board, and I feel like Porphyry, like, we all know someone like Porphyry who's like very in touch with their emotions, but also very grounded in the moment. And I love that. I love it when characters are like not just like flawed, but also like have their strengths, right? Like I love that we have a whole cast of characters that do such a good job of like having things about them that they've got these strong points, they've got these weak points, and like they're not like in opposition. They're very well-rounded characters. I'm a fan of them. I've grown attached to Porphyry.
Yeah, I think and the more you play through with Porphyry as you go through and you have these camp interactions, like right now we're at a campsite, you can talk to Porphyry, or as Porphyry you can talk to Solace, and then obviously but through the conversation Solace will talk back to you. You can talk to other party members, and through that conversation, as you reflect on the events that are going through the game, you'll learn about Porphyry's backstory, and she has a fairly tragic backstory, and so part of why she is so emotional is directly related to some of the tragedy that's happened to her past and her people, and being able to see how Porphyry as the character is dealing with that, and how that I'm trying to say it without spoiling what happens, but like how her growth happens, and how her attitude and her past and who she is as a character informs the decisions that she makes within the story that goes on, and then how she reflects on those actions. That adds a lot of depth to the character, and so in that way, kind of going back to the whole like, well, what is the point of playing through the same major storyline between across characters? Is that even though the overall goals are the same, those little things, the way the characters grow, those are all unique stories that each character faces, and so you really do find yourself attached to these characters. I like Porphyry a lot too, which is like it's cool that it's kind of flipping a lot of the like preconceived notions of what these berserker type characters usually are, and so now I'm like I also really enjoy the writing and feeling like, okay, like this is where Porphyry's coming from, and I get it, and so I like that a lot too.
Yeah. I also love the tension between Kieran and the rest of the party members.
Yeah, we should have time. Yeah, we should get to Kieran, and so he is something.
That's dependent on my ability to get past the chapter 1 boss on hard mode.
I believe real hard. And
thank you. I need that mission.
And this isn't to say that I don't believe, but just as a thing for viewers, if you do find that there was a particular battle where you're on hard mode and you just can't quite figure it out, you can't solve it, this game is still in early access, so balance changes are constantly happening. It might be that we overtuned something, we might have decreased a skill that was a little, or increase a skill that an enemy used in a different battle that maybe we didn't quite think about that. Oh, in a previous battle, this enemy also uses it, but in this situation, it's a lot worse for them to use it and things like that. If you do find yourself at a point where you're just kind of getting frustrated, you don't want to deal with the hard mode anymore, you can always go into the options and turn down the difficulty at any time. So you can swap difficulties for that particular combat if you get tired of like, and you're just like not wanting to deal with that particular fight being so difficult. You can always come back to it. And in some fights too, like particularly this one. It's difficult, but it's also optional, and so you can come back later. You know, you might have you can't really like grind for experience in other games, but you can come back to it after you have gotten some better equipment, maybe something that's suited for the situation. Depending on the zone, you can come back at a higher level, but there are different things you can do to sort of mitigate frustration, which is something that we try to offer to players, just because the last thing we want is for people to just be frustrated while playing a game. That's not fun for anyone.
That restart never happened. I didn't see that. As long as they keep attacking for free, I'm in good shape. Pretty good position here. I think let's just use Fume. Also, I love the Maticism of Fume.
Yes.
Like, just sit there and stay mad about things.
Stay mad, bide your time.
Yes.
And then do the damage. I also like Fume a lot. It's we try to give every player character some kind of recovery skill, and Porphyry's Fume is great. It's also great for the trance management, making sure that you are able to keep your trance. And of course, this management becomes more and more in depth the further in the game you go, because you get more skills that have these trance ranges that are that you need to be in order to activate that skill in the first place. Stun
to keep it from doing
that. So some enemies will go into these stances, and to break out of these stances, you can either stun them or hit them with blunt damage. And that's what some of these battle or skill types. There are skill types like blunt, pierce. We saw the heat, death, and soul earlier from the hex shot mod. There are different damage types, and each type has something unique about them. Piercing damage, for example, overrides enemy defense. It just bypasses it entirely. You have things like the blunt damage, which is able to dispel enemy stances, and things like that. Each one has different accuracy levels, and once you get to know all of these skill types and damage types, then that really just goes to improving you as a player of this game, and kind of gives you that leg up. And for players, if you want to ever see them, hey,
ooh,
we'll pause there and take a look at this.
Ah.
Now some unique crafting gear, and so that's something else that's new from this 0.2 patch, where depending on this path that you can take, you can grab unique items and unique crafting materials for each player. And so if you go through, or each player character, and so if you go through the game with Porphyry kind of getting all of those pieces of loot in those special places, then by the end game, you will be able to make a special legendary item for Porphyry, which is very strong. So you're encouraged to explore and go through these unique paths. That particular bone that you got is only accessible through Porphyry by destroying those the wooden the little tree stumps. So you can't get that there anywhere else.
That's really neat. Last time I playtested that particular area, we did not have that.
We did not. This fight is it's probably from whenever I played this fight, just it wrecks me every time. So I'm excited to see how you fare with this one specifically.
Yeah,
This one's hard.
long as we can get through it, and I'm not. Yeah.
Tough one.
Let's try this again.
Yeah.
Let's give this another. They crunch solace. Okay, we're just going to. Just gonna end this didn't. Give me that autosave, thank you. If I want, I don't remember what's in there, but if I want that, I should go there after I've beaten Cedar Spur.
That path will
Yeah, this
have
is not the
an
path
enemy.
That's fine, I can take these out.
Yeah.
These are a really cool enemy, though.
Yes. Then this one is kind of a I guess a sort of a light teaching moment for future enemies that will have these sort of multi-step preparation stages where, you know, for these enemies they will first take shelter, and then if they're allowed to emerge from that shelter, they will then be able to unleash a very powerful attack. And so later on in the game, you will end up with situations where, you know, if you let that the prepared attack happen, it's, especially on hard mode, almost unrecoverably bad. And so it kind of encourages proactive play, making sure that you're learning these attack patterns and what the intent means. So in particular with this secure, doing a cursed weapon here is great, because now as it emerged, you can see there's the preparation razor wave. So if the razor wave is allowed to happen, it can be pretty devastating, but it looks like there is not going to be a razor wave.
Nice.
Easy peasy.
And
Very
now I
nice.
can take the alternative path that I forgot about with that little reload there. Grab the bone. Push the log in. And we're on our way. And we are back at the bridge that we started the chapter at.
Love it. Oh, and there's some new enemies that we haven't seen yet kind of come on out.
Hard mode.
It is on hard mode.
I'm just gonna flashbang. I don't remember quite what it does, but I know it is a enemy that likes to buff things. It could just stun and not do it. Well, also, this one wants to inflict stun. I'm not gonna let that happen either. It is both my flashbang charges, unfortunately. I think I'm gonna use Instigate here just to get my damage up
Nice.
for having higher trance. Buzzer do more damage?
Yeah, more trance, more damage.
Probably not. Let's. Here.
Now Porphyria's angry!
Okay, well at least get this one off the field shortly. Worried about Porphyry living through this. Well, disarming shot does more damage than the basic shot, so. And Porphyry lives.
Porphyry's still alive.
Uh-huh.
Oh, and she gets the kill.
And drop.
Love it.
Disarming shot over here. And then now we should be able to finish this off.
And there it is.
There we go.
So one of the things that is now that we're kind of out of Tutorial Island as you get into the game proper, there are going to be a lot more enemies that start doing these blessings and curses. And it's an interesting system where they are sort of a natural counter to each other. So blessings overwrite curses and curses overwrite blessings. And it doesn't have to be the exact one. So you don't have to do blessed armor to overwrite cursed armor. If someone has cursed armor and you give them blessed initiative, that will also override the cursed armor. And unless they're passive, the blessings will also override each other. So the order of things matter, and in this particular case, even though enemies were blessing themselves and doing the blessed initiative or blessed armor to themselves, by doing blessed weapon, you're also taking off. Not only are you, inflicting them with cursed weapon. Not only are you having their attack, you're also taking away their blessing bonuses. And so managing those blessings, which happen pretty often, but it's intended to be that way, that also is a very interesting way to. It's just another angle to approach combat from. It's pretty fun.
I am going to get the best armor I can get. Handle this boss.
Yeah.
Kicks my ass every time.
He's a tough one.
Right. Oh, and then I can combine the Echo Bar. Yeah, I can combine the Echo Stones into Echo Bark, and then get some Soul Plate. So bad. Soul.
Yeah.
The armor's fine.
There's a lot of trade-offs with these armors. I think this initiative management is a really fun. That's the kind of weird math I like doing. I love stacking initiative in certain orders and playing around with how fast can I make someone, and kind of seeing these different breakpoints. How fast do I need to make a character to make them go before enemies? Kind of sussing out with different initiative values what enemy initiative values are, and then once you start learning what different enemy initiative values are, then you can really start kind of figuring out, well, at what point, when can I use plate armor to get the defense bonus? Eventually you'll get accessories that will increase your initiative, and so you can kind of offset the negative balance or the negative initiative that you get from those plate armors.
Mm-hmm.
All right, almost out of the woods. Oh.
I like how Solace is sarcastic. Playing through the game with Tally, both Solace and Tally are sarcastic to a point, and Porphyry's just not. He handles things very seriously.
Yes.
Okay. So, disarming shot you. Yeah. Are back to Shatter Sea. Bane of my existence. Ends out of the picture ASAP. We're gonna use the examine feature here. Take a look at a major wound, 33% HP at a start of every round. That's gonna be a
Yeah,
problem.
that is pretty brutal.
Oh, it looks like we have a question in chat, Ishin.
Ooh. Let me see. Yeah, so the question is, since there is no grinding for resources, will players need to be careful about which armor weapons they choose to build? And I believe the answer, if you want to answer it, Morgan, you can, but my answer is yes and no. You do have to be careful about which armor weapons you choose, in that, that is going to determine your core play style and gameplay choices and how you approach an encounter. But kind of what we mentioned earlier in the crafting, with the crafting menu, you can uncraft your equipment, or most equipment. Some legendaries you can't do that with, or things that you find in accessories that you find that are very unique. But a lot of things that you craft, weapons or armor, you can disenchant / reforge, however you want to call it, uncraft them, and you'll get your full crafting materials and dust back at full price. So the only cost and the major downside is your time. And so you can try out different builds, and so you do need to be careful in terms of, just being able to defeat that thing in front of you. But if it doesn't work out, you can always go back and try out a new strategy.
Yeah, that's a really good way to put it. Also, Peter Spur, the bane of my existence.
Peter
We are
Spur is a
once
rough
again
one.
my old friend. Okay. How do I do this again? I have a strategy for handling playtests. Save flashbang for any moment. One of them wants to use the Shatter Seed.
Yeah, and I think kind of going off of what I mentioned earlier, we have a we have the intent system that will kind of tell you what the enemy is trying to do, even though it won't be exactly what they're going to do. But things like Shatter Seed is a very powerful ability that has I guess kind of a unique tell in that it's an ability that attacks everybody, so it's an assault and it's also going to wound. And so looking at the intent states, you can generally suss out those big attacks where, oh, okay, if I see something that is going to have an afflict wound and the assault state that's going to attack everybody, that's probably going to be Shatter Seed. So you'll want to, that's like a good way for you to be able to tell, like, okay, maybe this is what I save as kind of crowd control or like defensive ability for. And so learning these enemy patterns is kind of the way we would like for players to learn and I guess quote unquote get better at the game.
I just want to
Ooh, good dodge by Porphyry on that swarm.
Yeah, and here we can use Whirlwind, which is kind of like easier. Okay,
Beautiful.
I think this is. There's Shatter Seed. This is where
There
it's
is the
spicy.
afflict wound. Yep.
I have no more charges of flashbang, but I should have things more managed here. This is probably fine.
Probably fine.
Shatter Seeding them. Well, we can at least do this. Down a little bit lower. Guess there's no world in which Porphyry heals herself up here, huh?
That is one of the downsides of the. Oh, she did survive for that turn. So yeah, that's one of the big downsides of being in Berserk mode, is that whereas you might have been able to fume and kind of get rid of the wound through the healing done by fume before, now she will because she was so fixated in that Berserker rage, you weren't able to heal.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and hit the restart button. I can just tell a couple more Shatter Seeds and I'm dead. Okay. Our old friend. Okay, y'all are both gonna open. Just mean.
us with the first dodge. Oh, couldn't dodge the second one.
Okay, no Shatter Seed here. We're just gonna go ahead. Oh, let's keep- Really careful about my turn management on this fight in particular with the strategies that I use.
On hard mode especially, and I think one of the things I do like about hard mode is that it does kind of force you to use everything in your kit, and so one of the things that I don't think I've seen you use yet is the battle sense, the mod that you picked up with Porphyry, which does give someone evasion or gives them better weapon damage if they already have evasion. A good way to sort of mitigate wound, especially things through like the Shatter Seed, is if it misses you, then it doesn't.
Yeah.
It's not going to wound you, and so playing around with the evasion is something that generally, like I would say, in the normal mode, you almost don't really have to because you can tank a lot of shots. But in a mode like this, where things are so deadly, it almost increases in value. Things like evasion ends up increasing in value because it could give you that chance of it gives you that chance of mitigating.
Yeah. Not loving the position I'm in. It'll be fine, probably. I might need a different strategy for this. Porphyry moving after them also creates problems.
It does, yeah. Although, and this is one of the things that I find very interesting about the way that this game works in terms of its mechanics and things like initiative order and all of that. One of the things that's I guess a feature or like a property of this game is that things like wound or any real status effect that is a damage over time or recurring effect, those all resolve at the start of the round, as in the start of the round for everybody, not so much that it's on your turn. And so there are some downsides to going last or after enemies in the turn order, because you kind of have to you're always sort of on the defensive or the reactive side. But a positive of going at the end is that if someone, for example, like Shatter Seeds and you get wounded, and if you are going after the enemy, you have a chance to cure that wound before the wound even ticks for the first time. So it's like a good way to like be proactive about curing. So sometimes on runs where if I have like a team member that can do a group heal or something like that, I like putting them last so that especially against teams that have lots of wounds, so that I let the team wound, and as long as that character's alive, they can just group heal, and it's gravy. I do love that about.
Yeah, the way we're setting things up is really good there. I mean, that's kind of what I'm doing here. Is this is the Porphyry show at the moment.
And I love that she is doing this. Oh man, okay, nice. Oh yeah, that was only a regular wound. Oh man.
No.
Oh, that was so close. Oh.
Okay,
Very
alright.
close, very close.
Change loadout here. Not really going to help me. Can't wound freeze. Should get the thing that increases evasion. But I should. Having more health is nice, but wound also does a fixed amount of damage, so... I mean, that's the other part of this, right? Like, the, since the wound, like deals a certain fixed amount of your health, like having more health, which is the item that I had on her, or more defenses doesn't really help. So
Yes.
Evasion?
Yeah, especially for the major wound. And so regular wounds, they'll stack. Like regular wounds is fixed damage, but the major, critical, mortal wounds, those are all the percent based ones as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That scene
Yeah.
here. Open up by stopping Shatter Seed.
Love it.
That end in the back can't use Shatter Seed, or at least he hasn't in 9 times. Expressing my
that is,
irony.
yeah.
Go for that. Is that what my strategy is? Flashbang you. Then let's give last weapon.
They need to be in stealth to get blessed weapon.
Right! I forgot about that.
However, Solace does have an ability that will give her stealth,
Yeah.
which is that sniper's mark. So I do like the turn 1 sniper's mark, and then Porphyry doing battle sense, giving Solace the double damage, and then on turn 2, Solace can just not always one-shot something, because I mean bosses are pretty difficult to one-shot, but she can do some pretty intense damage just off of that combo.
Mhm. That makes a lot of sense. I can't read, apparently. Alright, so here we have stealth.
Yep. Yep, so she's got stealth.
Instigate. Battle sense. Solace.
Now Solace has blessed weapon, and she's already doing critical damage to a marked target. So that is just big damage.
Dodge Solace. Oh, okay. I can't save them both. Alright, Solace, you win this trolley problem. If I use aim shot like a smart woman, that would have killed it. Not that that probably is going to change the outcome of this turn. Yeah. Cedar Spur is the bane of my existence.
Cedar Spur's a tough one. Yeah.
Alright, friends. Would kindly cooperate with me and just, not Shatter Seed for like 2 turns. I think I have a plan. Battle Sense. Solace. Hey, you just have to ask nicely, Ishin.
Sometimes you ask and it'll happen. Ooh, nice dodge by Porphyry.
Alright. You just need to go. ASAP. Disarming shot. Okay.
Nice.
That's one potential source of Shatter Seed out of the picture.
Yeah. And it was even done without, I don't think, spending a flashbang yet. So that's
You are
very good.
so right, Ishin. That's just that little... Behold, a demonstration of how hard mode works in the game.
That's a lot of potential wounds coming your way, but those are just a single wound, so...
Oh, I wasn't paying attention to Solace's health. This is...
Nice.
I trust Porphyry to win this 1v1 if she has to, but we're going to gotten this far. I'm taking no chances.
Yeah.
Go to Fume to get health back into a good spot. Go ahead and reload. Evasion. We're just gonna friend until you enraged. Arming shot.
Nice, lower the damage.
Yep, out of flashbang. We'll get evasion. That would make my life easier if this
Yeah.
wasn't flawless. There we
Oh,
go.
beautiful. Just like you drew it up.
You heal Porphyry. Porphyry is now the star of this show and will whack until it dies.
Almost at the trance.
Alright, Porphyry.
Now
Smash.
Porphyry smash. There's the lash. There's the Ren, 13%. Oh, no, this is a new one. It is an assault without a wound attached to it. So Cedar Spur seems like it has one more trick up its sleeve.
We add this. I'm gonna be real sad here, Ishin.
This is a one of those
We're
things
going
where
for broke.
it's I think you have to go for it and hope Porphyry survives. And Porphyry does survive. Oh,
We've
beautiful.
done it.
You've done it. Ah,
Cedar
love
Spur,
it,
my
love
old
it.
nemesis.
On hard mode too. Well done. It's not the I typically don't play on hard mode, so yeah, very very well done.
Thank you. I love that.
I think yeah.
Me too, Porphyry, actually. That's how I feel about Cedar Spur.
Yes, I think this was a good demonstration of how changing the strategies, kind of using in particular for this battle, like pretty much have to use like every ability in both of their kits to get the mitigation necessary and set up the situation in order to win these fights. And so it can be very difficult in some ways, especially on hard mode. I guess that's the intent, right? It's supposed to be difficult, but now it's a little bit more like it becomes manageable through the changing up your strategy and using everything. So these fights are possible, they can be done, and it just takes a little bit of luck, a little bit of changing the strategies, some asking the game nicely to not shatter seed, double shatter seed like that, and sometimes the game listens to you.
A little bit of Ishin explaining to me how things work because I refuse to read properly, apparently.
The amount of times where like I should know this, I've written the logic for so many of these skills that I should know them, but there are times where I will just completely misplay or like forget that something is a certain way, and I surprise it's like even though I've coded it, I still surprise myself sometimes. I was like, oh yeah, this is how that works. That's how this interaction works. Nice. So it's certainly it's you'd think after I've read these a million times that I would remember them all, but that's certainly not the case. I only remembered the sniper's mark giving you stealth into battle sense because I discovered it recently on a Porphyry run, and I was like, oh man, this just works. It's so good.
I love that. I think overall I prefer the... You know what? Actually, we'll keep that around, but I'll let Solace stick with the tunic with the evasion.
Yeah.
And see how that works out for me. I have not given it a fair shot, really.
Which I think is also, that's a positive, right? Like it's in playing in normal mode, you almost don't give those a chance because it's just the value isn't there. But on hard mode, the value for evasion goes up, and so there's so much like that variety in how you play. So now we're in the mines.
I love that the like in-universe tower song is like the tower song theme. I think that's really cool.
Yes. Yeah.
Here we meet the mining crew.
The miners. I love the fact that this foreman is in a mine and just has this I know they're just glasses, but they look like sunglasses, and it's just like I like to imagine that he just wears sunglasses and that he just does it because he's cool and he just who cares if it's indoors? We're wearing the sunglasses.
Mm-hmm. Vitamin shelves.
No item in there.
Let's
venture forth, see what happens. Oh, there he is.
Help me into this rabble, he says. Burst fire.
Oh yeah, so yeah, upon defeating Cedar Spur, we hit that milestone, and now everyone has some new skills. So Solid's got Burst Fire, a good AoE option. One that I'm sure some players will think, well, why couldn't I have that when there were the bees to kill? And I don't have a response to that other than that's just how the cookie crumbles sometimes.
Mm-hmm. I like having to familiarize yourself with like character's kit because like I think having an AoE option for things like that is like it can end up becoming a crutch, right? Like learning to manage the trance on Porphyry to get Whirlwind up, and then learning to properly utilize both GG and Tally to manage the wasps. And honestly, I don't remember how I dealt with those with meat. But there are things I learned about both Porphyry and Tally and GG and how to play them from not having burst fire to deal with the hornets.
Yes, that's very true.
Now I can start wounding things.
Yes.
Here we have Kieran. And soul damage, which is a wide range.
Yes, so soul damage, one of the properties of soul damage. And speaking of these properties, and we've talked a lot about things like blessings, curses, for those of you that's just joining, like you might hear a bunch of these terminologies that's kind of being thrown out, in terms of damage types, things like soul or whatever. All of those, and it sounds like I'm just kind of explaining all these just like on the fly or whatever, but if you are playing, you don't have to just discover them through just like trial and error or keeping track of math or something. We have a little guidebook that you can access where it will tell you things like what these elemental types mean, what is each attack type, and so the property of soul damage is that it is high variance, and it also bypasses barriers. But the key thing about soul damage is it's high variance, and so you'll notice in a lot of the soul damage there is like 1 to 40 or 1 to 20. It will just, you can roll the dice and it can do massive damage, or I am a very unlucky person and it happens to me a lot where it'll just be like 2 or 1, and I'm like, okay, that's just how it's gonna be today. And for people that love the chaos in the world, that soul damage is for you.
Also, I really should have... Yep, that's another 1 on soul damage.
Yep, that's the 1 on the soul damage.
I also keep forgetting that piercing damage goes through armor.
Yes. but it doesn't go through barriers. Yeah, it goes through defense. So
Yeah.
things like people that have high defense or enemies that have high defense, they're more susceptible to the piercing damage. And I will say one thing that we are sort of aware of and working on is it is kind of hard to tell like what enemy type or what enemies have high defense. Ooh, lots of people out. But in the upcoming patches and as we kind of develop the game further, one of the things we were trying to do is make that a little bit more transparent so that coming up with some way to advertise better to the player, like what is how that works in terms of like what kind of enemies have exactly what defense. And so we'll try to advertise that how much mitigation an enemy can do through defense. Those null fields that just blank out attacks can be so brutal.
On your thinking cap for
Yes.
hard mode, huh?
Yeah.
Oh. Here we're good. Need to kind of get Solace off the ground.
Yeah. I guess now that we've kind of seen Kieran, we've seen some of Kieran's abilities. Kieran is our kind of take on sort of a Spellblade type character, managing both the physical and the magic attacks. He's like the first person I guess you've had now that can do the soul damage. And so I think in terms of building Kieran, from a developer standpoint, we'd like players to either go for, kind of lean into that hybridness, kind of equip him with things that increase both his attack or magic. But I've also, done playthroughs where I focus more on the magic side or way more on the physical side, and that kind of balancing act with Kieran can be a little interesting as well.
And here again, the music goes hard.
It goes hard. And this Guardian comes out.
I love the way the Guardian talks to the party.
There's also just, this adds more to the mystery of the towers. Who is this Guardian? What is this all about?
Mm-hmm.
We shall see. Rip.
No ground to... Yep, literally. Uh-huh.
I love that line.
There's a chest in here now.
There is. So one of the words that's coming up a lot is this breach. That's some more as you talk to people at camp throughout the game, you'll kind of, I think right now you're, if any viewers are confused about what is this breach, if you've never heard this before, even if you came midway through, this is kind of one of the first times we're kind of hearing about it in detail. And as you talk through, especially with Porphyry, who was affected by the breach a lot in her past, as you go through a Porphyry run, you'll learn more about the breach as you talk to different people at camp. And so if you're confused about breach right now for any viewers, that is kind of natural. But and hopefully that will spur you to talk to your party members and kind of learn more about the breach, how it affected Porphyry, what was the breach. You can kind of tell by the name that, like, probably some enemies breached something. There was a sort of an outbreak, and obviously that can be not good.
Mm-hmm. I love the way the writing for the game. I don't know. It focuses on, like, there's a past between these characters, and each of the characters is has been affected by it's happened in the world and between party members, in different ways. So, you learn different things about the history of the world and what the Mana Knights have been through through each character's perspective.
Yeah.
This is honestly, it's made this such an easy game to playtest, because every time we have a new character come out, we need to really focus playtesting efforts on them. It's such an enjoyable experience because you learn new things.
Yeah, you just get to it does feel like you're discovering more and more of the world. It's been, I think, the world building done by Michael, our director, it just works so well, and it's a very interesting world to try to explore. All right, so now we have our first sort of camp with Kieran, so we can watch Morgan see. We'll see what kind of build she goes for with Kieran, how she suits up our little Mana Knight.
I'm giving him the Lurif's bow because he has both mana and rises the damage stat.
Yeah.
Actually, he's the only person in my party who really mana stat at the moment. Just give him all the mana items right now. You're a wizard, Kieran.
You're a wizard, Kieran. He's a pretty strong wizard, I think. I like the Kieran magic build a lot. He's got some firepower if you invest in him. I guess you also have to be lucky, which I'm not, but sometimes he does it. Sometimes he really just pulls out the magic, and just the soul damage roll goes in my favor. Feels good.
We're going to give this a shot. We're gonna go with the
Forged Soul Sword. Nice. Yeah, and I guess now's a good time to also mention, similar to the way that the mods have a sort of two different paths almost, or two different sort of archetypes that we've sort of soft designed around, the weapons too have these two different, I guess, soft archetypes is a good way to put it, where for Kieran, for example, he has the broadsword path, which is more physical damage focused, and then we also have the soul sword path, which is a little bit more magic focused. And so between that equipment, not everyone's going to be that way where it's split down the middle like that, but Solace has her assault rifle path with a sniper rifle path, and Porphyry has the bleed damage axe path or the harbinger axe, which is you sacrifice less, you kind of swap out the bleeding for more damage, and so on.
I do think I like the tunic Solace, just the chance to avoid damages. Nice.
Pretty strong, yeah.
I have half a mind to steal the King's Carapace from Porphyry. Porphyry doesn't have trouble living. 10% defense and 10% evasion on Solace, though.
Now, unfortunately, I believe the King's Carapace is it's
it
the
is
special
locked.
shield that
Yeah.
Porphyry has. That's the turtle, the King's Carapace that it's unique shield for her. So there are some accessories and things that are unique to certain players, certain characters, and so yeah, the sort of the power level of King's Carapace on other players can be it'll be very impactful. So that one is locked to Porphyry.
Yeah, I just tried to change it over and I couldn't. That was sad for a moment. But obviously that makes sense.
Yeah, she doesn't want to share her favorite, her unique armor with anyone, or shield, really, with anyone.
Nor should she have to.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, she's the one that defeated the Demon King. Ooh, look at that Mana Storm.
Mana Storm. acceptable.
Ooh, nice roll. Yep, that's good. Mana Storm's an interesting one. That's a skill that's gone through a bunch of iterations. And it used to be an AoE attack that was soul damage, but then it was like, you know, I think one of the tricky things with balancing soul damage is something with high variance is like it can be something that just completely one-shots a team and just kind of makes the fight like a little trivial, but then it also feels bad when you don't get it. So like that's a skill that's just gone through so many iterations, and I'm pretty happy with the way it is now. You know, it does high damage, but it also, and it's single target damage that scales with the amount of enemies on the board, and so that's I think that's a cool, unique like feature of that skill, and I'm very happy with it.
Yeah, the way the balance plays out for it feels really good now. Summary for this fight has just been blast away.
Nice.
And here we go. Ah, the Book of Madness.
The Book of Madness. This is one of the new accessories added in this content patch. It is probably my favorite accessory in the game. It's just... It is so strong, but it just turns you into a glass cannon. But man, when it works, it works. I actually have this is one of the reasons why I love normal mode, because on hard mode, I don't know if you can if the minus almost 30% HP and the penalty to defense, is that, I don't know how bad it is on hard mode.
We're
the
going
hard
to
mode
find out.
testing. Yeah, right. Yeah, the hard mode testing is usually done by Michael, and so I'm too scared to use it on hard mode. But on normal mode, it's great. I just become a glass cannon. Sometimes it does mess me up. I just take too much damage, but
we'll see if we can make it work over here.
I believe.
Okay. I'm just gonna open up with flashbang. One less enemy attacking me. That's
Love it.
good damage right there. Get one of you out of the way.
Nice.
Oh. Attacks going on that.
Love it.
Flashbang over here. Check that out before it acts. Back on you.
I love that your Solace build is so fast that even through the blessed initiative on the enemy, she still outspeeds them, which is beautiful.
One.
There goes the one.
Yep. That's how it goes. Alright, and we have Whirlwind, and
Ooh, and all the wounded things take more damage. Love it.
just enough to burst fire again. Or no, I reloaded it. Okay. Or no, I just have not been actually paying attention to my ammo that well. Oops. That's okay. As you have noticed, we still be. This is why I keep. Oh, cool. Echo Bark. This is why I keep being an idiot about things, because I keep getting away with it. If I am not actively punished for making choices, I will just use as much leeway as I have.
Which, that's totally fine. You know, that is a perfectly valid way to go, because that's how I am too, and that's why I play on normal mode. I don't want to stress out. You know, I like difficult games and difficult oh, there it is. I like difficult games, difficult situations, but sometimes if I'm just bashing my head against something for a million times in a row, it's funny on single player games like this I get really frustrated, but multiplayer games I tend not to. Like I don't know. It's an interesting, like, I always think about that nowadays. Now that sometimes I have to play test a fight on hard, and it's like, why do I it's an interesting like introspection into myself of like, why am I able to like I have the patience to do like a single like very difficult like raid boss fight in like an MMORPG for like 6 hours a week, but then I can't, like, I get frustrated on a single player game just like going through one fight for like 15 minutes. Like it's weird how brains work, and that's such a fun, just like a thing to just like think about myself.
I mean, one of the things that makes any art form fun to engage with is what it brings out in ourself, right? I don't think games are any different.
Very true, yeah.
I'm loving the build I have going on here with Glass Cannon, Wizard Kieran, Porphyry going full tilt, and Solace kind of trying to fill in the rest of the gaps. Despite her small health.
Nice. Ooh, very nice.
You heard it here first, chat. Glass Cannon Kieran, very strong. As long as you don't roll a 1 for all your soul damage stuff.
Yeah, it's sometimes the recovery can be like real hard when you fall behind with a full Glass Cannon Kieran, but
yeah, well, just don't
that
fall
happens.
behind.
Yeah, exactly, right. It's just skill issue. Don't fall far. Just don't fall behind.
That's damage right there.
That's a lot of damage.
I shouldn't have bothered. Enough to kill it.
Ooh, the 2 HP instigate.
That probably wasn't the right play. They ended up with more health than I expected. Yeah, kind of gone for broke on my AoEs there.
As they say, the strongest hitting crowd control ability is to kill them. So
yes, exactly. Well, and Porphyry needs to not get targeted.
yeah.
There
Kieran dodging that paralyzing sting that would have stunned him, that was very clutch. Good job, Kieran.
Porphyry will cover many sins. Yeah, he does take some damage there, doesn't he?
Yeah.
That's fine. I think you should take out one of these. Porphyry's got the rest. Porphyry might very slowly have them.
I believe.
I see. Well, remember how you were talking about how, status effects and wounds and initiative order affect things?
Love it. Get rid of that critical wound.
Okay.
Oh, there it is. So the nice thing about some of these abilities, so things like that, the sting that gives the critical wound, the enemy won't be able to do that all the time. That's what some of the echo tuning, like that's the kind of the way we advertise that some big ability like that might be coming. So echo states are things that a lot of enemies in this game have, especially those around these towers, where it takes time to build up to it, but as they build up to their third echo state, the echo tuning 3, that's when they have the capability to unleash a very powerful attack like that critical wound stain. So, we had to endure it for a little bit because they all were, they all had their echo buffs, but now that they have to kind of build up from it again, you take that time to catch up, and looks like Porphyry is going to
It's
take
just
care
how
of
you
the
draw it
rest.
up.
It's exactly, sometimes the play just works, and it
Here's
just
my
works.
new strategy for hard mode. We're gonna go for broke on damage, and then make sure that Porphyry's alive to the rest of the fight.
Porphyry's on cleanup duty.
Like that guide on how to draw an owl.
Yeah, draw the rest of the owl. Yep.
Oh, right, this puzzle.
Yeah, minecart puzzle. A puzzle where I have done it. I feel like I've done it a bajillion times, and yet every time I'm like, how do I do this?
Yeah,
again?
The only reason Michael let me design a puzzle in this game is because he never watched me solve that one. Oh, those things explode, don't they?
They do. There was a part of me that was like, I wonder if she will remember that they explode. Oh boy.
Guess we do kind of have to live through this, huh? Okay.
So the all in on the AoE, perhaps a little more.
I just have a better plan this time. It's going to still be horrifying, but Wow, soul damage.
I think that particular fungus also has a pretty high defense and pretty big HP pool as well. Nice. Oh, so close.
I should. Yes, I'm aware I had only one bullet, so it was just the same as using the normal attack on a random target, but I like to live dangerously,
Yeah, sometimes you just gotta throw. If you, oh, well, that's a lot of damage. If you invite the chaos, I'd like to think that helps when, that helps the chaos get to know you better, and then it'll give you better RNG for the soul damage. So
Question, what happens if everything on the field's dead? Do I win or do I lose?
I don't know.
Let's find out.
I feel like we're gonna resolve those one at a time, which means that once Porphyry is dead, that state's gonna kick in first. Oh yeah, that's okay. So we have the answer. And this is another one where it's like, I guess in terms of mechanically, kind of what the actual difficulty mode differences are, is that in normal mode and hard mode, it's really just kind of like damage scaling. So enemies just hit way for not way less, but like enemies just hit for fewer amounts of damage in normal mode and in story mode. And so this kind of fight is one where, on normal mode, it's not that bad. You can kind of get away with it. Book of Madness Kieran is harder to get away with because he just doesn't have the HP pool to tank a lot of the burst hits. But kind of, it's I think that's just one of the downsides to it. Ooh, nice provoke there.
Actually, what if I did tank Porphyry with Book of Madness Kieran? She can take all the aggro.
Yeah, she can. Yeah. However, one downside is there are some enemies that cannot be taunted, in which case that kind of that hurts that strategy. But I love Porphyry's Into the Breach a lot. It's the fact that it gives you the taunt and also blessed health is great. I have used it on many occasions, and then sometimes I go too into that strategy, taunt a whole group of enemies that will all end up cursing you, and then my blessed health is gone, and then Porphyry dies. So, not a universal solution, but still a pretty good one. We thank you for your sacrifice, Kieran. 07.
I actually don't know what those do if they hit their echo tunic thing.
Oh!
It's just how you draw it up.
Calculated. It's just calculated. I don't.
How do you win battles with Porphyry?
Yeah, you just
have my other party members throw themselves at the end and trust that Porphyry will survive. Oh, this is pretty.
Yeah, this is another unique area for Porphyry.
Oh, cute.
And now we have one more piece, one step closer to Porphyry's legendary item. More treasure. And we're back to the wolves.
Right, I can already tell. I want that more reliable damage or the chance to one-shot one of these. We're going for the one-shot.
One shot, I believe. Oh, the belief pays off.
Therapist, Book of Madness, Kieran can't hurt you. Book of Madness, Kieran.
Yeah, that Aegis, the null field that it gives is just so strong. And sometimes I walk right into it. I really like doing the one of my favorite sort of builds and strategies is with just going all in on Neat's damage and just making Neat just this similar to Kieran, like a Book of Madness type where he just one-shots somebody or tries to, and then I'll do all the setup. It takes a couple turns to do it, and then unleash, and the thing has no field, and I sigh and I say, okay, well, that's my fault for not reading. But all the information is there, and but sometimes you just forget, and I guess that's why a game can be fun, is that you just kind of forget sometimes.
All right, I'm curious here. Blessed health will not remove.
No, unfortunately, it does not. Yeah. It just kind of gives you the HP that it gains. It's not quite a heal, so it won't quite remove the wounds for you.
Alright, Porphyry, off you go. You and that wolf are in a fight to the death. Just enough to kill you. And then Wizard Kieran is going to take out that wolf.
Oh, nice. sustenance. Also a great accessory. Yeah, I like putting it on Porphyry also. Just getting that passive health back,
Yeah.
especially as a tank,
Mm-hmm.
feels
Makes me kind of
very
tempted
good.
to switch her to like the health increasing armor item.
Yeah.
She already has the King's Carapace to get her defense up, so I don't think that would turn out great. Probably be fine. I've forgotten how to get. No, I think I need to go down here with you guys.
More wild infections. The nice thing about the burst is that it also does damage the enemies as well. It damages anyone that isn't one of those infections, and so it's a good way to damage the enemy as well.
Okay, I know that one died to Kieran's physical damage, but I will point out the one soul damage. There goes Book of
glass
Madness
cannon. I am seeing the downside to like the punishing aspect of the lack of health and defense with Book of Madness so much more on hard mode. Like on normal mode, it's like it's I mentioned earlier that it's when you fall behind, it's very bad. But in hard mode, it's like even if you're not falling behind, it can still hit. Like it really does. You do feel the downside of that pretty hard.
I'm pretty sure this is called class. I think I've gone a bit aggro in this fight. Or if you're being stunned.
That's yeah.
Yeah.
Stuns are very strong. Obviously the crowd control. Oh, there it is again.
Yep.
Yeah.
Here we go. All right. Don't move. All right, we can just take out the rest of these easily. You're in. Okay.
I know. I've played the I've streamed the game before. I've also just kind of played it in conventions and whatnot, and sometimes people do think like, oh man, like that's a weirdly disproportionate number of ones to get. Like, am I really rolling that bad? And the answer is not necessarily. So sometimes you'll see the one, not because Kieran is just only doing one raw damage. It's just that like the soul damage still gets there's still some damage mitigation going on from the enemy defense, and so any value that is that is maybe like from a range of like 1 to say like 30 or 40 or whatever, something that is if that amount of damage is going to get mitigated by the defense, then it's just going to show up as 1. There's no real way to do like 0 damage unless you're attacking like an invulnerable enemy. So we say like no matter how bad you roll, like you're never going to do negative damage. So the 1 damage that you see doesn't necessarily mean that you specifically only did 1 damage. It's more that like you rolled low enough that whatever damage maybe you were only going to do like 10 or 20 or 30, like that amount of damage just got mitigated by the enemy defense. And so that's why it'll look like 1, and it seems like, oh man, like I only did 1 damage, but oh, so close.
The risk I took was calculated. But man, am I bad at math.
Variance can really just.
Please don't stun me.
Yeah, stuns are.
Oh,
stuns
wait,
are
hold
not
on.
cool. But
Yeah.
type vermin immune to stun. Awkward.
This is,
Not looking good for our heroes.
yeah, Book of Madness, Kieran.
Look at that. It's so fun though. Like the damage potential, like it's so there. Like it's. I think that's why it's my favorite like accessory. I like accessories that have that sort of like high risk, high reward playstyle. In my personal life, I'm a very risk averse person, but you know, in games, it's like, oh, I have no personal consequence. I'll take risks.
Well, he's alive.
Calculated, of course.
Book of Madness Kieran will heal himself.
He can, yeah. You know, with 78 HP, it's not much HP to heal, but you know.
Exactly. I made no claim that it was like. It was that statement was only ever technically true. Unstunned, that would be great.
Yeah.
Me constantly having to talk myself out of hitting the button. This is whirlwind.
I kind of felt you thinking about it, and I was like, oh, will she? Nice.
Won't guess what button I'm gonna press this time.
She's angry.
Oh, her being angry could actually put me in a spicy spot here.
This is pretty. Yeah, this could be very interesting. It depends on how much damage this thing does. Oh wait, no, oh.
It's just how you
It's
draw
just
it up.
yeah, it's just that easy. It's just that calculated. I love it. Yeah, Miss Kieran. Jump into the hole. Nice.
I think I'm starting to see why Michael said I might be entertaining for the broadcast.
It's great. I love it. Oh my god. This is also the puzzle that internally when I talk about it, like, I feel like 1 out of 3 times I write like, oh yeah, this, you know, the minecart puzzle. Instead of writing minecart puzzle, I write Minecraft puzzle, and I just like, it just completely, I unconsciously just write Minecraft puzzle instead. This Minecraft is just 2 similar words for me.
We've done it.
And there it is.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
It's a golem.
It's all golems. Don't.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, I can't wound that. You're immune to stun bolt. But you're not immune to being disarmed, so first weapon.
Love it.
Don't one-shot Book Madness, Kieran. You know, that wasn't so bad.
Yeah, with the first weapon having the attack damage, that's a great way to get around the fact that you can't stun that rampage.
One.
Yeah. Yeah, golems have relatively high defense also. They're pretty strong. With that provoke and that blessed health, beautiful.
Yeah, the blessed health interacting with the regen is nice.
Mm-hmm.
And off we go, Porphyry.
So a fun little like internal note about like so in sort of behind the scenes look, the Berserker's Rage state used to not have a 5-turn sort of limit. It used to just be you enter that Berserker's Rage, you are going to just keep hitting this thing until it dies or you die. But we found that with some very powerful regen accessories in the late game, along with some very powerful enemies that also do defensive regeneration in the late game, if you got to that state where you are berserked, or you were Berserker's Raged onto that enemy, it could just run infinitely, where the enemy can't hit you hard enough where it can kill you because you're regenerating from the regen effect and your incredible health pool too much. And then you can't kill the enemy because the enemy is also regenerating. So we're like, all right, we can't just have this, you know. And there's not enough math to really like figure out, you know, if what that breakpoint is. And so too many variables. So we're like, all right, we're just gonna put a turn limit on it so that there's no way to just accidentally get yourself in a state where you're just completely infinitely hitting each other back and forth.
You know, actually, this thought just occurred to me. What if we just like damage by 1% every turn that she's on enraged?
Oh yeah, I mean she's already damaged, and so then like she already gets a big passive bonus from that. But then yeah, every turn.
And how many situations are you going to actually end up enraged in? Like for that many turns.
Yeah.
And if it's like a small number, it wouldn't add up that much in most cases. But you know, cute way to solve a soft lock. Oh, is Foothold new?
We may have moved around the when you get it, but it's not a new ability.
Oh, but I can't turn down edification.
Edification for especially for the glass cannon build
and we just
is pretty
got serrated
strong.
edge.
Curse resistance, love it.
Kieran versus the world over here. Okay, that's something. Friendly. Let's head towards. I think we can probably time the ending of this chapter towards the ending of the stream.
Sounds great.
So I'm going to start heading kind of straight that way.
Sure.
Okay. I don't think there's anything all that like getting another glowing shard or you're in a echo-bound soul sword would be neat. why does his magic go up without the... No, I'm dumb.
Yeah, it seemed okay when I was looking at it.
Yeah, I don't know what conclusion my brain led me to there. Oops.
It looks like the top little sliver of that persists in the world.
I do want this chest. I don't know what's in it. Alright. Go ahead and disarming shot you. That is probably not the best use of my Mana Storm. So I'm just out the other inning.
Which is a good use of it, so yeah, I like that.
Okay, well, Solace is currently out of the picture, but we can... This is the Kieran and Porphyry show, unfortunately. Yep, he's out of the picture now.
Oh, but the bash stunning Porphyry, that knocks her out of the taunt.
Might just move around my... Yeah, this just moves around my problems.
Ooh, that knight on the right is now echoed. Hopefully it won't do its echo ability next turn.
Oh, no.
Scan.
Oh, and this will take me out if I don't... Farming shot
Yeah,
that.
that'll...
Chance to get lucky here. What?
Oh! The miss! Oh, the miss! Oh, Solace and the dodging, the evasion, it's working.
Alright, no one's trying to stun anyone currently. I'm gonna go ahead and let's search here. Get stabilized, we're in a pretty good spot.
Yeah.
Okay, then we can instant reach. Someone's aiming for a stun at the moment. Not quite sure what my end game is here at the moment. Go back and set your echo.
Yeah, I think I guess the big negative to the putting all your DPS eggs in one basket is that when that basket is gone, it is hard to recover from. But there he is. He's back.
No.
No, you're stunned first.
Okay. Moved around the problem. But this is probably workable. Haven't done your attack. I'm worried about just like one-shotting Kieran. Y'all can use stun though. More worried about. turn to activate.
I think yeah, some of the enemies have the blessed initiative.
And we're out of soul shards.
I think this is also a particularly tough one. A lot of the and this is kind of intentional through the game's encounter design and the way the game is paced, where if the things are guarding optional things, so like for example this is an optional path. I don't remember what's in that chest either, but the more non-critical enemies tend to be much harder. Wow, that's good damage. Ooh.
Oh yeah, I guess we don't have
Oh, the
anything going
rampage.
quickly.
Yeah.
I don't think Corpy's getting out of this.
Yeah, this one's a tough one, especially if she's stunned.
Okay, trying to set up a one-shot there is not a good idea.
Yeah, this one is an interesting one because of a lot of the ways that blessings and curses work. So unfortunately, with a lot of these knights, they have that post-action sort of extra action where they will put a random blessing on someone on their team, and so if things like the cursed weapon, if you put that on the golem, but then it gets overwritten by a blessing, through this echo sync, it's so punishing. I believe. Nice. That's good damage. Ooh, and the dodge on the stone fist.
Yeah, I'm in such a good spot. I can just afford to just go into a berserker rage here pretty safely.
Hopefully that this isn't like a famous last words moment, but. Ooh.
Looking like it might be. Let's just get Kieran off the ground.
Oh. Oh no, and now she's just gonna swing.
This is not a good build for hard mode. It's fun though.
Yeah. It's a tough one, especially for this fight too. There's just so much proactivity from the opponents that it's the survivability sometimes needs to take center stage.
I could do this so much better. I forgot one of the things I just unlocked. Here, I'm gonna make my life so easy.
Mana battery.
Mana battery is so good.
It is. Yeah, especially with someone like if you're going for the Kieran magic build, where if he has all that the MP to take, it's very strong. Ooh.
Okay, Saul sort of had a chance to act there, but I didn't want to get...
Yeah.
Oh, that's spooky. No, I chose a different enemy. That's fine.
Worked out. Kinda.
It has thus far worked out. Alright, let's see if this adds health or just... Okay, there we go. Yeah. Great.
Yeah, you get back the amount that, or I guess you don't really get back, but the idea is that since you're getting that health, you also get that the amount of health that you would get the increase by, which does make it kind of a heal, but not a true heal. Yeah, the cure wounds is pretty nice if you can stack up. The amount of healing isn't like a ton, but when you can stack it up with your edification bonus and going for a more magic build, it's pretty decent. It's also great at curing like everyone's wounds. Like there's no wounding here, but against like a wound heavy enemy, just having curing going last and being able to cure wounds everyone, so good.
Mm-hmm. Going for farming shot on.
Yeah, overriding that blessed armor.
Yeah, and reducing the damage they do.
Yeah.
But there it is.
Yeah. Unfortunately, you also like spending that amount put you under the edification cutoff too. Yeah. So it wasn't double damage anymore.
Yeah, now we're out of battery.
Yeah. That mana battery came in so clutch for Solace though.
Yeah.
It's still, like that's so good.
Now we have 2 tanks actually.
Yeah.
We're gonna fuse this. That's to make sure you stay alive. We're just gonna disarming shot everyone. Hardware. And stop thing is good.
Yeah.
Whoops. I was thinking this was Solace. Oops. Arming shot you. Let's roll down this fungus. The fungi are
The
beefy.
mana. Yeah, they're pretty beefy. They don't do much in terms of actual, like, I think threatening stuff for the most part, but yeah, they're pretty strong in their own little way. They're like a kind of if you spend your time, like, I don't want to say it's almost like a trap necessarily, but they are someone that, if you're prioritizing them too much, then maybe you're just gonna get destroyed by everything else. So the target selection is, like in any other game, very important in this one too.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I think we've got this one.
I think this
Pretty
is,
well
so
far.
under control.
Didn't want either one off the field. It's fine by me. That's fine. Mark over here.
Oh yeah, now it's just a 1v3, easy peasy. Well, I shouldn't say that. Who knows what it can do, but seemingly, this is it.
Now it has the yes. The So because of one of Porphyry's skill mods, it now has burst resistance,
Oh yes. Now it gets.
experience damage. He doesn't roll a 1 at 32. $155.
Nice,
There we go.
155. That's good damage.
Okay, and then here we use disarmable shots. That did a cursed weapon. Button heals wounds.
Love it. Oh yeah, that rampage does nothing. Your rampage means nothing to me.
All right,
Into the
or we can finish
rage.
this off with everyone else being kind of out of gas here. So I think Solacing here.
Nice.
We did it.
Awesome.
Oh, Knight's Panoply.
Yeah.
Cute. This is technically better than Lurif's bow. This gives him some. Or actually, wait.
I think it's
no.
yeah, it's armor. Yeah.
That it reduced magic some, but not by much. I think I'd rather have the little bit of def. Well, actually, no. With the Book of Madness,
The Book of Madness makes it so that yeah, the defense just gets erased.
that's really funny. Oh, that's really funny. You know what? No, this is. God. It is 7 o'clock, so it looks like that was our final fight of the session. The peak of what we'll see from Book of Madness Kieran here.
I love it. That was great. That was, I think so. In terms of just the overall sort of chapter, you know, this is kind of I would say we're at near the end of the chapter, but this is, I think, yeah, this is a good stopping point. I think we've got to see a lot of the, you know, a lot of features of the game, a lot of abilities and spells. I had a great time just enjoying this. I guess I wouldn't necessarily say it's crazy because it's kind of intended, but like the Book of Madness Kieran build with Porphyry tanking on hard mode too. You know, I will say, kind of watching this playthrough and seeing that Book of Madness Kieran can still be done on hard mode. That's great. Maybe I'll try it on hard mode next time for myself. So this is a very enlightening experience for me too.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah. So
All right.
Tower Song, yeah, it is currently out on early access through Monday the 19th. It is on sale for anyone watching during that time. That is Monday, February 19th of 2024 for the RPG Maker Festival sale. Pick it up. You can also try out the demo. The demo is available at any time for free, and you can play through a little bit of the like chapter 1, the kind of the Guhar Forest Woods area, kind of try out all the different characters, see their skills, and yeah, check out the game.
Awesome. Thank you, Ishin, for joining me for this, and for all your lovely comments. And thank you all for joining us.
Yeah, thanks everybody, and thank you, Morgan, for playing.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.